All right. Thanks for joining me again. It's Coach's Corner number 35, and our topic today is summer schedule. Now, it's actually January 1st right now as I'm making this recording, and it's probably coming up mid-January on social media. But I bring this topic up because I know for myself, I always worked on my summer schedule as a coach, football, and I was a football coach. So we really didn't start, summer, I guess, starts the same for everybody. But, I always worked on my summer schedule over Christmas break and probably had it 90% done by the end of January, just because I'm kind of a planner. But I wanted to be able to get those final details worked out over the span of probably February and March, so I could get that schedule out to kids and their families early so they could make plans and know what's going on in their summer. Now, that summer schedule would include things like camps that we were putting on, camps that we were taking kids to. I was a football coach, so I had our 7-on-7 schedule built into that summer schedule. If you're coaching other sports, whether it be basketball or volleyball or baseball or whatever, softball, whatever you're going to do competition wise in the summer should be built into that as much as possible. I know some of that stuff doesn't become available until later, but I built it in as early as I could. I'd be sitting on the couch on New Year's Day, texting my football coaching buddies, setting up 7-on-7s on New Year's Day. Other team activities, we used to do a lot of team building stuff and some leadership stuff, and that would be planned into that. Our mom's clinic that we did with the ladies in our program, that would be, anything that we did in the summer from that last week of school all the way until the first game week, we would schedule into that summer schedule. Now, I thought it was always really important. As the head coach, I was the guy that built that schedule, but I always ran it by the staff as early as possible. We would have monthly staff meetings during the off season, and so I would, give them that tentative summer calendar, in January or February, so they could see it and have input on it and give their ideas and their suggestions and start to make their summer schedules or family summer plans based on somewhat on that football summer calendar. We also had a leadership council of made up of a leadership team of players, and we would present that calendar to them again before we presented it to the full team to get their feedback and their ideas and see maybe if there was some things that we had in there that we don't need or needed to change, or some things that we didn't include in that summer calendar that we need to include. And we get that feedback from both the staff and the kids. I thought that was really important. And as you're building that schedule, the thing that you really have to balance as a coach is how much stuff are you going to do in the summer? What's too much and what's not enough? And I kind of used to, as a younger coach, think we're going to do the maximum amount that we're allowed to do. We're going to outwork everybody. That's going to be the kind of thing that we hung our hat on. And I think that really was a cornerstone in our program and something that was really a benefit to us. But as I've gotten older, as my energy level changed, and I think kids, other things that kids have going on in their life have expanded. Oftentimes I wasn't really competing with other sports in our school all that much. And so, we could kind of dominate the summer. But that isn't always the case. And so you really have to balance that to make it beneficial for the kids without wearing them out before your season even starts. Something to keep in mind is, how are you going to schedule the week? One of the things that we used to do is, we would offer strength and conditioning, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, and Tuesday, Thursday in the evening, so we could accommodate kids' work schedules and spread, and what we found is over the course of time, it kind of spread our staff thin, and we switched it up and changed it to where we, in the end, just offered one time a day, 3 days a week, and our participation really did not decrease. Kids made adjustments in their schedules and really probably increased participation because there were more kids there, and it kind of built momentum by having fewer opportunities to choose from. So something to think about. And I think that's going to vary and it's going to work differently in different programs and different schools and different times, even over the course of your career. How much downtime are you going to build in? Does your state have a mandatory dead period? When that first came in Michigan, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world because, oh my God, you needed to work and you needed to, not. And what I've discovered is a week dead period really ought to be a 2-week dead period, so that kids can stay refreshed. And honestly, more importantly, coaches can stay refreshed, because I think the high summer expectations push a lot of coaches out of coaching, just from the standpoint that the expectations are so high in terms of their time, and oftentimes time away from family and their kids. And I think we really need to guard against that. And the last thing to think about is, what are the rules for your state relative to summer? What are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? And just because you're allowed to do it, do you really need to do that? And like I said, early on in my career, I'm like, we're going to take it right to the limit. We're going to do everything we can possibly do. And I kind of backed off that in my last few years in coaching, and probably would back off that even a little bit more, just because our program at that point didn't need to do that. So I'd really encourage you to start working on your summer calendar now, regardless of what sport you are. I know if you're a winter sport coach, it's not super convenient to be able to do that where you're trying to get ready in season, but I would really start getting an eye towards the summer. And also, one thing I didn't mention, you got kids in your program that are multiple sport athletes. Work together. I've been in situations where coaches worked really well together to not conflict with each other and to not put kids in a situation where they have to choose between football and basketball or volleyball and softball. And the more you can do that, we're here for the kids. We're not here for you and your program. And make sure the summer is not making kids make choices between sports, and also still, even if they're a 2 or 3 sport athlete, that they still get to have some summer to be a kid and go to the beach and hang out with their friends and family. So keep that stuff in mind too as you're building that summer schedule. All right. Hopefully you got some benefit out of this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Keep the momentum going with Coach Scott Farley on YouTube. And always remember to keep being that coach that your kids need you to be. See ya.